2 weeks. So, I mean, in between that, there was, soccer practice, soccer games, my son's music, cleaning the house,
That old stuff.
Yeah. The stuff that nobody cares about and I don't want to talk about.
That's right.
The stuff that nobody listening cares about. I care about my son and my daughter.
That's right.
Not here, this old stuff.
All right, let me get the old notebook here. Do I need a new notebook yet? No, just started this one. All right. Good stuff.
Okay. I scheduled a text message to go to you guys next week on Sunday to remind you that I'm not going to be here next week.
Future me appreciates it.
I mean, I'll remember. I'll send you some real shitty reply when I receive it.
That's right.
Thanks.
New phone, who dis?
That's right.
That happened at my workplace where, somebody was trying to, someone, because they're an adult and can't handle their own life. They were like, yeah, I need someone to call me at 6 a.m. on Wednesday because I need to call my dad and remind him that he has an appointment. And I was like, no, I don't even wake up by that time, let alone wake up to send you a message. So I scheduled a text from the office cell phone and from mine. And then when I got into work, they were like, did you set alarms to wake up? And I was like, no, you don't deserve that from me.
Yeah.
It's not my life.
You guys are already one deep on this alarm. You don't need to be too deep and bring in a third party.
That's right. You can't inception this alarm. That's you've gone too deep.
You 100% can apparently inception the alarms.
I guess. Yeah. All right, you guys.
I know you can because mine always says this alarm was cancelled because you didn't respond to it. This alarm was also cancelled because you didn't respond to it.
I was asleep. Bone.
Really, I always get the one where it's like, hey, you woke up 5 minutes before your alarm. Do you want to dismiss it now? It's like, just everyone's disappointed this morning.
I feel like I'm playing with fire. I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, that's the biggest risk.
That's right. All right, you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
Yes. That was me trying to edge closer to the mic. By the way, everybody.
Right. All right.
Yeah. Let me edge closer to the mic.
It's an earthquake. All right. Starting in
backwards. This is a slope. Thank you.
That's right.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi, I guess. I don't know.
And the Nymph.
Already been a spicy afternoon.
It 100% has. If you want to hear exactly how spicy, you can check it out at patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are the digits.
We talk about all the different levels of spiciness over at the Outcast, which is the weekly uncensored sort of kind of behind the scenes look about, I guess, our lives.
It's no production meeting, am I right?
Yeah. Heyo.
Our lives, energy drinks.
Yeah, mostly energy drinks.
I don't know how we fell into the whole energy drink thing, but I guess that's something we do now.
I feel like it came up from... It comes... that ticket comes up...
Moon?
Yep.
You're pointing at a camera.
That's right.
I'm pointing at you.
The camera's full. I feel like the energy drink bug bites every podcast at some point. Our number just came up. That's how it goes. You get all of that over there. Moon mentioned the production meeting. If you're at the $5 tier or higher, you get the exclusive production meeting. This time, one just came out this week for season 16, where Moon and I are going through a spreadsheet, going through all of our stuff and trying to figure out what season 16 was going to be. If you want to hear exactly how on brand the editing of the first episode turned out to be, listen to the Outcast for this week. It turned out to accidentally be kind of a ride, which is great.
When did we turn into the comics universe? So in order to understand what's going on in the production meeting, you need to listen to the Outcast episode.
Yeah, you have to listen to episode 780.1, and then after that, there's a side story, TVGP Gaiden. You gotta make sure you listen to that too. And then
and in this
you'll
one,
get...
the squall is called Leon.
I know, it's really weird. They just still don't explain it.
Well, and then you have to run the track backwards. I don't know how Boston did it, but it's a completely different subsection of the podcast.
That's right. It's a whole different episode if you listen to it backwards. It's really
layers within layers.
You spin the record backwards, and it just yeah. Anywho, if you like the craziness you just heard, check all that out over at the Outcast at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are numbers. We're so old.
That's right. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay. Where do I start? Okay, Dead by Daylight. I played that. It was fun. Come join us. Blah blah blah. I didn't have a lot of time this week, for the record, because vacation time approaches, and as anybody who works a full-time job knows, that when vacation time approaches, you put in double the hours before you go on vacation,
That's
and then
right.
double the hours after you come back from
Oh,
vacation.
you're going on vacation? I have something really critical I've needed to do for 6 months, and it's due in a week. Can you help me?
And they don't tell you about it until 4:30 in the afternoon,
right.
the day before you leave.
Yeah, I know it's Friday, but yeah.
That's why I don't tell people when I have time off.
That's right. Look over that way, and you're running out the back door.
Unfortunately, I have to. Otherwise, everything I do doesn't get done.
That's true.
But no, it was one of those things. I didn't have a lot of time, so a little bit of Dead by Daylight. I have been using Saints Row as my wind down game. Specifically, I'm just jumping in, doing a bunch of the open world jazz, and then jumping out kind of thing. So you remember the Saints Row game. So it's those like in the open world activities, like deal with this, deal with that, do this mini game, do that mini game, whatever it may be. So it's do all of that stuff. So that's been my wind down. They reference Altor in the collectibles.
Okay.
It makes me excited and sad at the same time.
Yeah. Goodness.
Excitedly sad.
Yeah, because now I want to be like, oh, I do own the remastered collection or the remastered edition.
That's right.
So maybe that is calling my name real soon.
You could just carve out a little time.
You're not the only one who's had thoughts this last week about maybe replaying a series.
Like, but that's the problem. It's like I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, but it has like a bajillion collectibles. And like 2 or 3 missing achievements, I think, which can be a bit glitchy. And the THQ remasters were never that most highly rated remasters at the best of times.
True.
Yeah.
So is it worth my time, or do I want to play one of the 6 Danganronpa games that's on Game Pass now, apparently?
That's right.
Or anything else currently on hot or cold storage.
That's right.
Is that my hard drive names? I should change it to that, shouldn't I?
That's right.
I should change those hard drive names.
Yeah. Hot and
Internal,
cold.
Hot and cold.
Yeah. Tier 1, Tier 2 storage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really, really good. Now I'm going to have to rename my hard drives. I was about to tell my phone to set me a reminder to do that. I won't, because anybody listening in speakers will have a problem. But yes, Saints Row is fine so far. Again, it's a above average, middle of the road game. I don't get over yourself if you're trying to make it 3 and 4.
Yeah,
like
it's not going to happen.
Deal with it. Okay, let's talk about Fall Guys, shall we?
Oh boy, have you entered the world of Fall Guys?
Again, yes, I have.
Okay.
I have re-stepped my way into the world of Fall Guys because, of course, they had a Xenomorph skin.
I
just saw that, yeah.
So anytime there's something to do with the Xenomorph, I have this thing that I like to do, which is, and because I know what the response is going to be, I take it, I screenshot it, and I send it to Mackie over at BMF Cast. Because his response is always the same. Thanks! ! I hate it.
Yep. It's you know how to do psychic damage to him specifically, which is, hey, look, the Xenomorph is in
Fortnite,
and it can,
Guys.
Yep, it can do a really great dance.
So every chance I get when it's one of his beloved franchises, I will just send it his way because I want that response. What I'm saying is, I feed off his hatred.
Right.
I am the Palpatine to his Anakin kind of thing. Eventually, he will strike me down, but when we get there, we'll get there. So, of course, I had to start playing Fall Guys because, of course, I needed to get my season pass level up because, of course, I need the Xenomorph outfit for my.
Oh, is it in the season pass for the season?
In the season pass.
Is it level 100?
12 and 14.
Oh, super.
I thought they were gonna do like, hey, here's the feet at level 5, and if you want the head, here it is at 150.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the head is like 12. I think the feet are like 14. They also have a new winning animation, which is a chest burster, which I desperately need to see.
Perfect. I love it.
Like, desperately, because the Assassin's Creed one was pretty funny, where he just jumps off and then falls. It's great. Yep. They also have like a bunch of good nameplates. They now have Ellen Ripley in the store.
I just saw that, which
it's a really good one.
Her skin looks like appropriately tired, which I really appreciate.
And they have a little facehugger, which is met because it's just a facehugger on a bean's head.
Yeah,
like, okay, whatever.
Facehugger's okay.
But then I happened to have accidentally scrolled past the store last week while they were promoting a previous theme's cosmetics.
Okay.
Was it the 2B one?
It's the Tron ones.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, those actually look really good.
Yeah.
So I tip them.
You could put $20 in a tip jar.
Yes, because they have 4 Tron outfits. They have Tron and Sark from the original Tron, and those outfits are appropriately blocky and like QB. And
that's cool.
They got huge wrist cuffs on them because that's what the outfits looked like in the original Tron.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have Rinsler and I can't remember her name.
Cora?
Yes. They have them from the new Tron. So
that's cool.
I got all 4 because I love Tron. And I need those skins.
You gotta catch them all.
No, Tron, not Poketron.
Yeah, that's a different. Right.
Yes, Poketron is when you just say yes and no to everything.
That's right. I fight for the Pikachu.
That's a deep cut for the original Tron as well, which is. Oh, I love Tron. Spoiler alert. I absolutely adore it. Classic and new. They're both great. Don't fight me. I don't care. But no, so I bought them and I played a bunch, and I'm trying to get my battle pass up to level 40 because that's an achievement apparently. So therefore, I'm already almost there anyway. So I might as well use this season to do it.
Isn't that the maximum for the battle pass now?
It's 100.
It's 100 now. Okay, when the game, before the game was free to play, the max for the battle pass was 40, and that moved pretty quick, which is kind of nice because the battle pass was free, and then you could blow through it pretty quickly, and it's like, all right, for a game that cost me money, that feels pretty good, as opposed to like, you spend $60 on this, and every season you got 200 levels, get to grinding. It's like, that doesn't feel great.
I forgot that this didn't come out free to play, because I think I got it on PlayStation Plus.
I did too when it launched. I was like, well, I was going to buy it anyway, but here we go.
Well, I know it's a shame we don't have other Destiny games that do Destiny things like that. Isn't that right, Boston Destiny?
That's right. I totally bought all of the Destiny skins and the extra gubbins and stuff from Fall Guys when it was out.
Shocker! I knew.
Boy, they've managed to nail both of you.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, like, hey, we got. Well, it was interesting because the Destiny, Fortnite, and Fall Guys all had skins from each other's games. So, like, I'm just like, oh, cool, I'm picking up Fortnite skins in Destiny. Those look incredible. Oh, I'm picking some stuff up over here. Oh, this got $20 over here. I'm stupid. Jesus.
And you also did pay $60 for a game and then paid $10 for the season pass, which is exactly what you said. Doesn't feel great.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, Destiny.
Yes.
But no, Fall Guys is fun. I like Fall Guys. It's annoying. I'm never going to get that 5 wins in a row achievement, and I have come to accept that fact.
Me neither.
I had 4. at one point and came second. I'm so annoyed because I was literally one bean away from getting that achievement, and I failed because I suck. But whatever. I'll wait until the easy team game comes back on like the limited rotation playlists, because true achievements will be like, hey, this achievement is really hard to get, might be easier right now.
Let's boost it. Yeah. I also have to really give the Fall Guys team a lot of credit. They, every time a new season comes out, they're like, all right, here's 6 new games. It's just like, we could have been okay with like 1 or 2, but it's like, yep, here's another season, here's 6 more games. We have like 50 of them in the game now. Just like, shit, okay, gosh, that's great.
And they're usually themed as well. So like they've got like a lot of like jet engines and things like that happening, which is cool. I do like the fact that they have a sick Spock outfit in the
I have seen that too. Yep.
in the past, it looks so good. It's so stupid and so dumb. Yep. I love a good like bastardization of like properties. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Give me the xenomorph twerking in Fortnite. I'm fine with that.
Go all the way with it.
Because guess what? It doesn't take away from my love of the original. That's fine.
That's right. That's why I like it.
Don't get me wrong. It's a nightmare fuel, but I don't care.
Yep.
And I got 2 games left. Okay. Do we want to do the oh my god, or do we want to do the oh no first? Nim can join me on both of these.
Let's do the oh no first.
Oh, let's talk about Hardspace Shipbreaker.
Okay.
So this game, number 1, is right in my aesthetic wheelhouse.
It's incredibly cool looking.
It's got Elite Dangerous meets Aliens vibes, and I absolutely adore that kind of thing where it's like retro futurism, but it's just cool. I love the way it looks.
Are you a fan of all the corporate policy mumbo jumbo at the start of it?
You have to like sign waivers and agree to be disintegrated so they can clone you, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about dying because we're just going to clone you. And
well, they're going to rehydrate you and send you out from the prison.
Yep. So in order to clone you, they have to kill you, which is hilarious.
Good times.
My meal choice was plastic free, by the way.
Oh, good. Lucky.
I believe that's what I went with as well.
Yeah, I didn't want the alien biology or gastronomy or whatever it was called, where it was just like a little picture of an alien on a plate. No, I'm good.
I think there wasn't the other one also just like chicken or something like that?
It was like chicken, plastic free, vegan, and then
that's what it was. Yeah.
Like, okay, sure. Yeah, I now owe this company that I signed a contract with about $1.6 billion.
That'll come off pretty quickly, right?
And just fun corporate owns you speech. Anytime you do anything, your debt goes up.
Oh, good.
And you get, if you need to respawn, which I did once because I'm an idiot. That's like 150,000 credits. If you refill your oxygen, that's 9,000 credits. If you refill your fuel, that's 12,000 credits.
Yeah, that's on top of having to pay to resupply yourself. I mean, it's just, it's all around fun.
They get you both ways.
Yeah. Although, surprisingly, though, the little housing unit that they set you up in is actually quite spacious and nice. You get to change the decor.
I was expecting a cube.
Exactly.
Can we talk about, what was it? Live, laugh, like scrap or something like that?
Live, laugh, scrap.
which
is
really
hanging
good.
up in my kitchen space.
It's so good. As soon as I saw it, I just stopped and laughed. I was just like,
that's really good.
Live, laugh, scrap. That's credit where it's due. But this game, for those of you who don't know, Hardspace Shipbreakers is basically exactly what it says on the tin. Get a job for a company working in the atmosphere of Earth, or just outside the atmosphere of Earth, breaking down ships which are no longer useful, and basically you put them into different containers depending on what the material is that you have. So it becomes like this reverse jigsaw puzzle where you have to take this ship apart while not destroying things while not putting things in the right containers. So aluminum goes in the furnace, nanocarbon goes in the refinery, and chairs go in the thing underneath you. That I
Yeah, the
can't remember what
green
it's called.
thing below. Yeah.
Yes. So it becomes this like reverse jigsaw puzzle of just like, okay, so number one, how am I going to get into the ship to start breaking it down?
Okay.
And then how do you go from there? Like taking out support structures, then big panels. There's something so satisfying about being inside of a ship. Like you cut the 4 things on the exterior body, so the panel on the exterior of the ship is loose. And then because you have like a weird gravity gun tether thing, you just give a little bloop, and it does like a pressure
Blows
wave.
it out, yeah.
And then this big, huge panel of this ship will just start slowly floating down away from the ship that you're inside.
That's cool.
It's weirdly satisfying to just be like, cut, out you go in the bin.
Have you thought you cut the supports for one section and then went to blow it backwards, only to find out that you did not cut all the supports and end up blowing yourself backwards into the ship?
That is how I died, was by trying to do that and then sending myself into the refinery.
I was actually going to say the same thing. I managed to, one ship that I was doing, I went in, there was like a port access that you could just fly into. And I went in there and I cut all the support beams, and the support beams they're all labeled as just like, it's this black and yellow painted support beam. It's like a brick. Distinctive. Yeah. So you know what you're going in there to cut. That way you can start separating.
And when you cut those, it doesn't cost you any money. If you cut a panel to make it smaller, that costs you money because you destroyed part of the panel.
Gotcha. A usable piece, right?
Yep. So I thought I had one panel done, and I went to go blow it away from the ship, and I missed one somewhere, and it blew me out through the port that I flew in through into the furnace. And I was trying to use my grapple hook too to see if I could wing myself back towards it. No, there's a point of no return on those, so I was screwed. And
they've got a little gravity well to them, where as soon as you're in that well, you're done.
Yeah.
You might as well just enjoy what's left of your life.
And that grapple hook has gotten me into a lot of trouble as well. Because you're in 0G and it's basically a web. So you can Spider-Man in space and you have momentum, and I missed I flew to my house. I don't know what happened, but somehow I got off course. I went to go grapple it so I could get back on course because it doesn't move, because it does do momentum, where if something weighs more than you don't, you're not moving it's moving you. So you start to move around it. If it's smaller, then you can start moving, whatever the item is that you have tethered. So I grappled my house, and then I started to do like this weird rotation around it, and I didn't want to let go of my grapple, and then it ran out, and then it just disengaged and flung me out into the blackness of space because I was going so fast.
Jeez.
So I just got up to, I think it's the 3rd or the 4th ship. I think it just finished the 3rd, which is when it gives you like sorry, maybe it's the 4th, because it's normal ship, but slightly more complicated. Then it introduces the big green bin underneath you, which is for like seats and electronics and escape hatches and things
overhead lights and
so I was in the process of like having a ship filled with gubbins, and I was like, well, this is easy. I'm gonna fly in, do some cuts like a moron. Was trying to thread a needle with a laser cutter next to a fuel canister.
There it is.
I was aware that the fuel canister was there. I was just like, okay, this is fine. I can see the dot on the thing, so I know I'm going to miss the fuel canister and hit that. And then I accidentally touched my right stick and moved a hair's breadth to the south, hit the fuel canister, blew up, set myself on fire, and half of the ship was now destroyed in this like big arc of explosion and floating random debris everywhere. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I just cost myself like 500,000 credits because I hit this stupid fuel canister.
Bad day at the office, huh?
That's why I always pull anything out with the tether first. But that was the other thing too. with you bringing up the aiming on this is kind of crappy. It's not it's not the worst possible thing ever, but you do have to kind of finesse it when you're trying to aim at something specifically, and it's, this tiny little thing that you're trying to melt away, and then because you're in 0G, your pointer still keeps tracking above, even though you told it to stop. So then you have to like slowly tap it back down, and then you just have to get it. It's a pain in the ass sometimes.
Yeah. And this is on Game Pass, right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. PC and console. It just came to console like this week.
Yeah, now that it's out of early access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's nice.
There's just something because the music, everything in its right bins. Accidentally forget to refill my oxygen, get the oxygen alert, make sure I go back and get the oxygen again because I'm never paying attention to those bars.
Yep.
Only when it's like, hey, by the way, you've got low oxygen, you might want to fix that problem right now.
Right.
By the way.
And it usually tells you have low oxygen when you have just barely enough time to get back there, depending on the size of the ship. Because you have to remember, you have to navigate back out of the ship, back to your house to hit up the kiosk, so that way you can get more oxygen or whatever else you need. So,
yeah,
which is never really an issue, but it's enough to get your heart racing a little bit sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, because it'll do like the whole alert thing, and then he does the gaspy breath stuff too, which is just like, no, don't do that one.
It's too terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, come on. This is my vibe. But this game is like 100% what I need right now, where it's just like, yeah, I'm going to rip this thing to bits. I'm going to listen to my country space music. Right. I'm going to enjoy the corporate hellhole that is undoubtedly in our future. And, just chill and relax. And enjoy
clock
myself.
in, clock out.
Yeah.
Hopefully
and I think
pay
that's
off my debt.
Well, and I think that's kind of the best part too, because when you select a ship, it just dumps it in your lot for you, and then you just figure it out from there. And that's part of the fun for me. It's like, okay, I've got this brand new ship now, and then I'm just kind of flying on the outside to see, okay, what do we have on the outside that I can take care of? Like, I can pull off this antenna, throw it on the green thing below. Let's see, do any of these panels come off without cutting them? Yep, here's a couple of them that I can pop supports off of, and then you slowly start working your way in, and it's just fun to kind of zone out on until you blow yourself up by accident or get too close to something you shouldn't be by.
Right.
Yeah, and it does like you've got the video playing in the live stream video feed, but it does this thing like at the top of the screen. It's got this progress bar, and it's like the goals you have depending on how much you tear. And when you accidentally destroy something, a red bar fills from the opposite direction.
Oh no!
To let you know how much is there and how much isn't there. And you obviously get more points and experience by doing all of those goals. But you can end the workday and come back to her at a different time as well. Like if you go and like finish your shift essentially, once you come back out, you can just continue working on the same ship. You don't have to get a new ship every time. It's like, no, if you pick a new ship, it's going to throw everything that's in your like little dock away. So
okay.
You can take as long as you want on these things. That's not a problem at all.
That's nice.
And if you feel like you've gotten as far as you can with it and decide to scrap what's left, you can redo that shit. Like if you accidentally threw out like a bunch of parts that you just weren't paying attention to and it really hindered how much you could have earned, you can finish up with what you have left, have them pull what's left, dump it, and then just redo that same ship over again.
Oh,
too.
that's
so
nice.
you're never locked out of anything. But
yeah, and it does have a decent difficulty selection too, where I think the easiest quote unquote difficulty like removes the oxygen and the fuel constraints and things like that.
Oh, that's nice.
It lets you play without having to worry about all of that kind of stuff. I put it on because I'm crazy.
Doesn't it have a sandbox type mode too?
It does. It has a free play mode as well, where you can just pick a ship and do it however you want.
That's cool.
Without the story. Yeah. Which the story's been interesting so far.
Yeah.
It's told in a lot of emails. It's so corporate. Like when something happens to you, like I set myself on fire by overheating my gun, and it's like, here is how you deal with fire damage.
Right.
Corporate will not be responsible for blah 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 blah. You will incur any costs. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, come on. But like, the ship that you're like taking to bits has stuff in it that you can use. So it'll have like, oh, here's a suit repair kit that was in this closet on this ship. So I can just pull that to myself and use it on myself.
Yeah,
that's
sometimes you'll find oxygen canisters in there too that you can use on yourself if you wanted to.
Or you can shoot them and blow up.
It's up to you.
I will admit, I love the magnet gloves, which the game never tutorializes you on this, and I hate it for it. But if you press the bumpers on the controllers, he puts his hands up like this.
Yep.
And it's a magnet glove that he will just stick onto something, and then you can like cut without having to worry about like the zero.
That's cool.
Flow. It's
and
really
in true
nice.
Dead Space fashion, you can change your cutter from horizontal to vertical.
Great.
To get just and it shoots 2 beams and does like the cross layering, which is really awesome to see happen. But
man,
it's a really fun game, and you get stickers to put on your equipment.
Yeah,
yes, you do. You get stickers. I kind of hate it for this. The stickers are single-use stickers. Once you've stuck it, you can't take it off and stick it somewhere else. You have to end the sticker again.
That's pretty great.
Because they're stickers.
It's pretty good.
Magnets, they're stickers.
Corporate's not going to give you another sticker, man.
No. I'm pretty sure we got
best
charged
part
for
is-
those stickers one way or another.
Oh, probably, yeah.
But the favorite part is as well, it's got like a sticker progression. And if you earn a certain sticker like a set number of times, like I think there's one for like a 95% complete rate. Get that 3 times, you get a hologram version of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It's
the dumbest
thing.
It's
so dumb, but it's appropriately cheap of a corporation to be
exactly.
Like, here's a sticker.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations.
Good job. Here's your star for the day.
Yeah. It's so good.
And then you can upgrade stuff too. You get your, what do they call them? Links coins or tokens or whatever that you can use to upgrade it. So you can upgrade your grappling gun.
Tokens.
Yeah, there you go. So you can upgrade your grappler so that way you can do like tethering where you choose to grapple on this one panel, then set the other end to grapple on this other panel. And then you can kind of just like move both of them at the same time instead of individually. There's another one where it's like it cuts down on heat dispersion, or your gun doesn't heat up as fast and stuff like that. So it's just like a general skill tree where you earn some extra stuff and you get some other stuff that just makes you last longer in the environment. So
it's a really solid game with a really good like reason to exist. Like we've talked about this with roguelikes on We Roguelike It, but I love a game that gives you a reason for playing the game the way it's played.
Sure, yeah.
This is the cutscene at the start is so good because it's like, oh, here we are taking off from Earth, and look how much crap is like orbiting the Earth. It's like the ship is flying out to the dock where you're going to start to work, and it's just like as all of this crap hits the ship, and it's just like,
right.
Okay, now
That's
you got
pretty
me.
good.
Like that's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It's great. Nimp, you got anything else for Hardspace Shipbreaker?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. It's just really fun. So.
My final game this week, the other category, which I forgot what it was. Let's talk about the end of Dying Light, shall we, folks?
Yes.
So I specifically didn't talk about this last week because I wanted Nim to be here when I talked about it.
Because we have feelings about it.
Yes. So I will let you explain the timing because that was great. For a game that touts itself as a 4-player co-op game, which it is, and it runs fine, and it's fun as hell when you're playing with a bunch of other people. So at the very start, when you're doing the tutorial, you need to finish that before you can essentially jump into co-op with each other. And then you're playing the game, you're having fun, you're having a good time. And then you get to the very last mission of the game. Spoiler alert for a game that's ridiculous years old. No, I won't, because I know there's a couple of people in the community who decided to start playing this recently, so I'm not actually going to spoil it. But you have to go to a location. And when you get to that location, it's like, here is the door to start the final mission. And then you hit activate on that door, and it's like, oh no, there's someone else here. You can't do that. This is a single player mission. What are you doing?
Oh my god.
It's the only time besides the prologue, like he just said, that you can't do co-op in the game.
Come on.
And so the majority of the mission is a lot of running and running away from things chasing you, which I like. The game has a really good control scheme and feel for that like parkour kind of stuff.
Right.
Boston.
Hi. Hello.
There's a boss battle in the game. What is the worst potential way to have a boss battle in a first-person game? The worst way. You have played them, you hate them. We all know what the answer is.
Is it where they're like picking you up and throwing you?
No, think about pure gameplay. What's the worst thing that could possibly happen as a boss battle for like a 70-hour game?
Yeah, what's a system that you don't want to deal with in a boss battle?
QTEs?
Oh,
ding,
look
ding,
at that.
ding.
Oh no. Is this like a first person punching QTE thing?
Ding ding
Kind of,
ding.
yeah.
Oh, woof. Is there a first person vomiting in it? Because that's just like the trifecta.
No.
There isn't, unfortunately. But it's literally the entire like last 20 minutes is a long, drawn out cutscene with QTEs.
Oh,
That's
no.
it.
Here, let me read you our Discord chat that Moon and I had, and I will abbreviate because there was a lot of swearing here and there. So when we first hit the door, we were both like, "All right, I guess we beat the game." Like,
right.
Neither one of us was interested in continuing playing for a little bit there.
Right.
But because we're on a podcast and things need to happen, so we're like, "All right, cool." So I send Moon a message saying,
Hold on. You might do it because you're on a podcast. I do it because the sweet
the
tea roast is
achievements.
gone.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
and I also did it because Moon did it. Yes, if he jumps off a bridge, I will follow. We did it several times in the game. Anyway, so my message was basically, should I work on beating Dead by Daylight? Which I get a response back of, it's your call. It's a 20-minute mission. Lots of running. It's not great. To which I responded back, my message and your message perfectly encapsulates how I feel about this game sometimes. I did go through and beat it because we're talking about it, and I didn't want Moon to be the only one holding the towel on this one.
That's right.
But yeah, it's not a whole lot of anything towards the end, and I don't understand why they couldn't have you do it co-op.
Yeah, like I think you guys, your natural first thought seems like what should have been the solution, which is just like, yeah, maybe you do a little bit of running, there's a cutscene, and then it's kind of over. But like, it's never fun to watch a cutscene at the ending of a game with another person. So like, you just have to do it solo. But for them to be like, all right, strap in, let's do this.
It feels like they just couldn't figure out how they wanted to actually make the final boss fight.
Yeah.
So they just did a QTE, which when you're in co-op, only one of you can do QTE, so it doesn't make sense for two of you to be there.
That's not going to work, yeah.
Yeah, and it feels kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Because literally, you don't have to fight anything in the last 20 minutes of the game. You can just run past everything. Run. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's highly suggested, if you are going to get to that point, don't fight anything. You're not meant to. So
yeah, just finish it up.
Don't even try. I tried. It did not go well. Jeez. But yeah, so besides that, though, once you do beat the game, it does throw you back into the main world. Everything's hunky-dory for as much as it can be. Mm-hmm. The surprising thing is that the game does not put you back in the world before the boss fight. In fact, the first loading screen back into the world talks about how you've beat this person.
Did the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Now, did we mention that at all while we've been talking about Dying Light? Did we mention the fact that on the new consoles,
no, we haven't.
It does audio recaps during loading screens.
Yeah.
Which is cool because it's like, Rise has found me. I need to run and figure out what I'm going to do with this research.
Wow. Yeah.
But the problem is on the new consoles, it's got super fast loading time. So it's like, Rise has found me. Skip.
Yeah, you're in the game. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. The game is fine. If you're playing it by yourself, it could I could see it getting pretty boring pretty quick. Mm-hmm. But with us playing it the way we did, where we were just shooting the crap while playing it and having our own fun with it.
Right.
I again was
Somebody's in
dying.
trouble. Huh?
I was dying jumping off of buildings, and it wasn't my fault this time because I had forgotten and didn't know that this would happen, but we completed a scene where they took away all of your stuff.
Yep.
Because we were imprisoned, and we stopped at that point, and a couple of weeks later we picked it back up, and I didn't realize
I had gone through and done like all of the like collectible achievements and everything else in the meantime, so I didn't think about it, and I was like, yeah, I've got all my crap. I'm running around doing collectibles, whatever.
Yeah, right, I got my stuff.
I see him jumping around and all over, and I'm like, all right, cool. So I go to follow him and jump off a building, and I don't have my grapple hook. I don't have med kits. I don't have anything. Squish. Yeah, and I just fell and died.
Oh, man.
Which is pretty par for the course with me in this game, because I have the worst luck trying to land on anything that wouldn't kill me for some reason.
Right.
But yeah, and then it also didn't help that Moon's trying to walk me through, okay, this is how you get back into your inventory. I'm like, yep, I'm in my inventory. I have nothing, and I am like surrounded by zombies. I'm trying to get out of there, and then I finally die. And I'm like, oh, cool. It brought me to a safe space, so now I can get into the duffel bag and get all of my crap back.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. We were making fun of how like the last portion of it turns into Resident Evil, where you're in an underground lab.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Because exactly. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't tell you what happened to that game, man. Honestly,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But now you have to tell them the timing.
Okay. Yeah. So I was looking through my achievements just to see what all I unlocked while goofing around, and while I was doing that, I was like, oh, I wonder when we started playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
So I scrolled all the way down from the 114 some odd achievements that they have. Yeah. And found the very first one that I earned. And I had beaten the game on September 26th.
Okay.
The very first achievement that I unlocked playing the game with these guys was on September 27th of last year.
There you go. 364 days of zombies.
Like, well, crap, if I had known that, I would have waited until the next day to beat the game.
That's right. Oh, man.
But yeah, so now I'm just waiting for a sale, because you already picked up the second one, right?
I did. Yeah. It was a gift, so I already have that ready to go.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for a sale, because the second game did not release well.
No, it has not been received well, so it's got to be on sale soon.
The first game didn't either, really.
Yeah,
that's true.
I have
playing the first game after like 6 years worth of DLC and constant updates and new free crap all the time.
Yeah, I did look up a couple, 6 months after the game released. This is where we're at with patches reviews. Excuse me. And it sounds like the game has been patched up to the point now where, the world's no longer disappearing. You're no longer falling through the map randomly anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
That's right.
It plays the way it should play. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I am just waiting for a sale on it, and then I will pick it up. And then we can continue our random shenanigans.
That's right, your adventures in Zombie Town.
I hear, though, that when the game works, it's a lot better than the first game.
Oh, good.
Which, I like the first game a lot. I think it's a pretty solid game, considering it's a fractured team who did the original Dead Island.
Yeah.
Dead Island 2 is coming out soon.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it. I have no interest in picking Dead Island 2. So,
I mean, that's such an unknown quantity at this point. Like, why would you pre-order that at all? That seems like a bad choice.
The team who made that went on to make a better game. It's called Dying Light.
That's right.
So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. The only complaint I really truly have with the first game is the controls. The controls are such garbage, and you cannot remap anything on it.
Oh boy.
Outside of that, I mean, the story's serviceable. The gameplay's fun.
Doesn't matter. Come on.
No,
Does anybody care about the little girl in Dead Island that lost her teddy bear? No, we did it because it was experience points of loot.
Yeah, it got me 150 XP.
What was the name of our quote-unquote love interest in the game?
Selena? No, that's Catwoman. No.
I don't know.
Selena Kyle, there it is.
Yeah. Don't look it up. Don't cheat.
That's right. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you mean.
Because I only remember the quote unquote boss because I just beat the game last week, so I remember what his name is
constantly.
Yeah, he's constantly yelling out the dude's name. It's like a tick with that guy. But anyway, did you find it?
It also helps that his name is like the rising of the sun.
Yeah,
which works.
So yeah.
Jade.
There you go.
Jade. There you go.
Yeah. We don't know and we don't care.
That's
She's dead anyway.
Yep.
I'm not even sure how she died. How'd she die, Moon?
Well, there's a cutscene. He failed a QTE.
So again, the story is fine.
It's not what you're there for.
Yeah. You're just there for the co-op shenanigans.
That's right.
Right. But that's all I've been playing, Nim, so you can just keep on trucking.
All right.
Please tell me you played the Truck Simulator, because that would be too good.
I did not. Did you see that the snow truck game that you guys were talking about went on sale? It's like $23 right now.
No, that's seems like
Judgment
a pretty good deal.
Is on sale for like $17 right now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There's pretty decent sales going on right now, so check your console of choice or platform of choice. Yeah. Anyway, in a surprising turn of events, I decided to play Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Oh.
Why, you may ask?
So surprising that the From Software guy plays the From Software game.
I mean, I wasn't planning on playing anything from them this year besides Elden Ring, because it's getting pretty hectic.
I like that you have like this multiple options of From Software games to play at seemingly any moment.
I own all of the games, and I'm just biding my time for when I can actually play them again.
Right.
2 and 3 I played and didn't beat. Sekiro I never did play. So, and I'm starting to find that I like the offshoot Soul games a lot more than I do the actual Soul games.
Right.
So like Code Vein, Sekiro, Bloodborne, really love those games. Been a lot of fun so far. Sekiro is basically a modern version of Tenchi from like PlayStation 1 era.
Oh, Tenchi,
Teacher. Yes. Did you play the Surge? Because if you haven't played the Surge or the Surge 2, you really should.
I did play the first Surge. I got past, that first boss. Because that's when I realized that they had the same thing that Dark Souls 1 has, and I'm pretty sure they all do at some point, where if you hit a certain spot on the boss enough, you can break off a piece of them and then turn it into a weapon.
Yeah.
And I didn't do that on the first boss, and then I kind of got
to restart.
And that's where that game currently sits. But yes, the Surge is also on the list, and the second one keeps going on like really deep sales. So that'll eventually happen at some point too. But anyway,
but yeah, like Tenchu, you kind of have the grappling, building, climbing sort of thing.
Yes, so you can do all kinds of fun stealth stuff in this game. You can sneak up on enemies. You can one-shot enemies. Not anything boss-wise, but I'll get to that later. You can hide in bushes. You can hide under certain buildings. You can hang from a wall and skitter across it, so that way people can't see you. You can crouch so people can't see you.
Right.
It's a lot of fun stuff so far. All the enemies, they usually have a health bar, and then they've got like red circles above their health bars. Common enemies usually have one. That indicates that you can do one death blow on these things, and it'll automatically kill them.
Oh, okay.
And a death blow is basically you sneak up on them, they don't know you're there, and then your lock-on indicator turns from a dot to like this big red circle. Do an attack, and you automatically do a death blow and kill them. Depending on what skills you earn, you can gain back a little bit of health, you can gain some extra money, whatever. Bosses, or I guess like mid-bosses, I will call them, they will have 2 of these red circles above their health bar, so you have to do 2 death blows on them before you actually kill them.
Okay.
And a lot of them, you can sneak up behind and get to them and automatically get 1 death blow out of the way, so then you just have to bring their health bar down to get the second death blow and they're done.
Gotcha.
They are difficult. So this game is a lot more aggressive than Dark Souls games. It's kind of more on the lines of Bloodborne, where you want to constantly be blocking. If you block at the last minute, you start messing with poise. Poise is
Okay.
basically the indicator of how many times you can block something before you break poise, and then you can start damaging them.
Mm-hmm.
So in this game, you just hold down L1, and you just constantly block.
Okay.
But you're not really doing anything to the enemy's poise meter because you have to block at the last possible second. And
You got to
then
time it.
Yep, and then you'll start doing damage to their poise.
Gotcha.
And it's a fun little dance. There's enough musical sound cues to kind of get you into a rhythm of what you're doing.
Mm.
Some of these mid bosses, it doesn't seem to matter. I still have a lot of trouble with them, but a lot of the regular runabout enemies, it's not a difficult thing. The mid bosses, I don't know. I can't. There's like this one guy, I've run into like 2 generals so far, and they've had like these massive swords, and I've killed all of them. But it's like they do like these different attacks and parries and swings and all this crap, and you gotta, like, if they do like a low swing, you gotta jump over it because you can't really parry it. But if they're gonna thrust at you, if you have the what is it called, the Mickery or something like that, dodge, you basically have to dodge into them, and then you'll counter them, and then you can continue on with your death blow or whatever. And it's all this stuff that you have to pay attention to. It's way more skill based than Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dark Souls, you really just have to worry about the parrying. If you're gonna do that, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into an argument about which one's more technical and all this crap. I don't.
Sure,
care.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. They each do something different, and they're fine. Anyway, so I am at the point I've beaten 1 boss general, I've beaten an ogre, I have beaten an actual boss, and when you beat a boss, you get a memory fragment, and you go rest at a statue, and you basically turn that memory fragment in, and you gain more attack power.
Oh, cool. Okay.
All right, cool. As you kill enemies, you will start to fill a gauge. You will get like little experience points. And once you fill that gauge completely, you will earn a skill point.
Mm-hmm.
Will also earn money, which you can use to buy things. You don't have to worry about souls or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
What happens in this game when you die is once you get to a story point in the game fairly early, you get the chance of, if you get killed, you can revive due to dragon blood mysticism. Woo!
Magic.
Yeah. So you can choose to revive, and above your health bar, you will have, starting out, you'll have 1 red circle. Eventually, you will get a second one. What these are is how many times you can revive yourself when you've been killed. So you can do it once you get to the point I'm at now. You can revive yourself twice. However, there's a catch to it, where once you have revived yourself once, a black paintbrush stroke will be over them, and you cannot revive yourself again until you've done a death blow to an enemy, or if
interesting.
Or if you rest at their bonfire equivalent, the statue,
right.
Then that'll refill it. You have 2 different types. One of them, if you use them, will refill automatically anytime you rest at the statue. The other one is based off of what, if you've used it refills every time you kill something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a third one. I don't know how that plays into effect. I haven't gotten it. And so far, anytime I've ever revived myself, it's always been the one that I just rest at the statue and I get that one back. I don't know if you can pick which one you use at a given time or what. But the other thing that's happening is every time you die, whether you revive or not, you're spreading dragon rot. And this is impacting the NPCs.
Oh.
And it will eventually kill them.
Oh, no.
This is like Dark Souls 1's light, dark essence for each of the worlds, depending on how much you died and stuff like that there.
You mean Demon Souls?
Demon Souls, yeah.
Dark Souls did it too, I think, but I don't know.
Dark Souls only did it with humanity, and there wasn't really... In Dark Souls 1, there wasn't anything where if you died a certain amount of times, it started impacting NPCs. NPCs in that game, you can just flat out kill if you wanted to get items from them and stuff like that. Right. But yeah, Demon Souls, it was definitely, if you had like a certain amount of the light and darkness, that you can change how the world interacts, and it would I think it was if you increased the light, it made things more difficult, but you got better drops or something like that.
I think that was the case. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Which I have the remake for the PS5. One day I will get to it.
Someday.
So moving on to skills. When you kill an enemy, it fills your skill bar. You get the skill point. When you die, you lose, and you choose not to revive, or you can't revive. You lose half of whatever money you have on you, and you lose whatever skills are in that bar. If or experience, I'll say. If you earned a skill point, you do not lose that. It's only whatever is in the experience bar that you're filling to get the experience point.
Okay. That's pretty fair.
So generally what you do is if you're going to fight something that's difficult, or you're not sure if something difficult's coming along, what you would do is you would just, kill a couple enemies to get that bar fully filled so that you get that point. And then with the money, you can go to a merchant and you can buy coin pouches. There's a light and a heavy. And you pay like a little bit of an upcharge fee, and basically you have these coin pouches that you can sell back to vendors for money. But while your coins are in the pouch, you don't lose them if you die.
Okay.
So there's
pretty good.
Yeah, so there's ways to work around it. Just like any other Souls game, if you come up on a boss, spend everything that you have, and if you don't care about losing, 100 gold or whatever, just go fight it and don't worry about it. You cannot earn back. Like if you die, there's nothing to go back and retrieve. It's just gone. You just lose half. Okay. So there's no reason to even rush back unless you're just really heated and just want to take the person out. I'm trying to think. So yeah, that's most of the systems right there. The skill points you put into earning like different stances and stuff like that, where it's like if you hold down block and R1, you can do like this whirlwind thing where you spin around with your blade and you do 2 hits on an enemy. You can earn with your arm. I completely forgot the other main mechanic of this game. You at the beginning of the game, you lose one of your arms and you get a prosthetic arm, and this is what the grappling hook is attached to. You start earning armaments for your arm, like a shuriken thrower, or it throws out like firecracker stuff, or it can throw out flames, or like all these other different things, and they all have different uses. Whereas like with the shuriken, it's usually a one-hit kill on things like dogs, wolves, small beasts. So if you want to kill something silently without alerting something, you throw one of them at it, it'll kill it, it'll alert everybody, but it won't alert them to where you are. It's just alerting them that, oh, hey, something just died over here.
Gotcha.
Assuming that they're close enough in proximity to it. If they're not, nobody knows, nobody cares.
Right.
So you get all these different things that you can find throughout the world and buy. Some of the merchants have some of these. But like the firecracker thing that I was just talking about, you can use on bigger enemies, or like with the ogre. The ogre doesn't like firecrackers, fire, loud noises, so you can use it and it stuns them for a couple seconds, and that allows you to get a couple hits in.
Okay.
There's other things where it's like you find like these jugs of oil, you can throw them at an enemy, and then you get I forget what they call it, but it's basically like a flamethrower that you get where it'll shoot out fire for a brief moment, and you can catch them on fire, and then they really freak out.
Okay.
Sometimes to really funny effects where the game will kind of
jungle fat.
Yeah. And really funny effects where you can watch them freak out and they will run back and forth because they're on fire and they don't know what to do, and the game doesn't know what to do. So, you get kind of weird stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, it's just been like a ton of fun. I've just been really enjoying it. I love exploring in this game. I love jumping from the top of a building onto an enemy below me and just one-shotting them because they didn't know I was there. Yeah. I almost had that happen to me because I'm at a point now where some dude from a kite just jumped down.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
I did not realize that was what was happening because I was on a roof. I saw the kite, didn't realize there was a person up there, and all of a sudden you just hear yelling. Like some guy just going, ah! And it gets like louder and louder as he gets closer, and then he just like swan dives you.
That's great.
And luckily, I saw it at the I just saw something coming at me and blocked, and managed to block him at the last second. But that was the craziest thing that that happened, and it kind of freaked me out for a moment.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with this game, surprisingly. Nice. But yeah, Sekiro.
Surprisingly, the From guy has fun with the From game again.
Yeah. I don't have fun with all of them. Like honestly, like
I mean, does anyone have fun with a From game? That's maybe not always the point.
And I was kind of on a coin toss with this because, like I said a while ago, I've got like Dark Souls 2 and I had Sekiro on deck, and it was kind of a coin flip because they're both kind of like 40-hour games. But Souls just feels like it takes forever to get going. thing. And the other thing that I'm enjoying about Sekiro is the fact that it's a little more dumbed down system wise. Like I'm not messing with putting points into like vitality, endurance, and
it's not as much of an RPG.
Yeah, it's
less
more
RPG, more action.
Yeah, it's like I'm earning skills that I can unlock, and then I do the button combo and I pull it off, and I'm like, oh, cool. I just lit that dude on fire and then decapitated him. That was sweet.
Right.
Just general whatever. But yeah, I'm just having dumb fun with it. So,
right.
My last game that I have to talk about is Legend of Heroes: Trials from Zero.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, so in the timeline, this game takes place in between Trails from Sky and Cold Steel.
Okay.
It takes place in a country/town called Coalbelt or Crossbelt.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy. So the thing that they do great with this series is that they must have a Bible or something that they're constantly referring to, because you can see the timeline. Like I'm having to remember, okay, these are the events that happened in Sky, these are the events that happened in Cold Steel, and now I'm playing the game that's in between. So it's like, all right, so they've made some references to some things that have happened. This other stuff hasn't happened yet, so no one is saying anything. So I'm trying to get myself into mindset of where am I in this time-wise. I've already met Estelle and Joshua from Sky because they do know these protagonists as well. I am at a point where my guys are super weak, which is super weird because in Cold Steel, they were part of the A team now because they've had that put in that time at this point.
Right.
The other reason that this is weird is because this is one of the games that never came out to the West.
Mm-hmm.
This was only released in Japan and I think in China on PC, but there was never an English translation outside of a fan translation.
Right.
Which I came out last year. It was fully finished on Geofront, and I was going to start playing that and got all the way to the point of downloading the patch, inserting files into said PC on my bot copy of Zero on PC. And I played like the first chapter. And when I beat the first chapter, that's when NIS finally came out and announced, hey, this is coming westward now. And then I stopped. I am playing the PS4 version. It is kind of the weaker version when it comes to graphics, surprisingly, compared to PC and Switch, for the other two places that you can also purchase this.
Yep.
The reason that it is different is because there is weird legal crap going on behind this.
Surprising for a JRPG, there's weird legal things happening.
Yeah, so it looks like what had happened was Falcom. So Xseed owns certain rights to East and Trails of.
Mm-hmm.
Falcom also owns certain rights to those, and so does NIS, wherever.
Yeah, it's like this one team was like, oh, you can put out the PC and Switch versions that'll have the same code base, so it has all these improvements. This other team can put out the PS4 version because they have the rights to that, but they don't have access to the improvements from PC. And it's like, okay,
yep,
all right.
So what ended up happening?
All over again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was one particular developer who had been working on the PC and Switch versions of it was able to put in more time and get the graphics to look better. I mean, this is still a PSP port onto modern day platforms, so there's only so much you can do. But that is what the difference is now. There's a couple extra options that he has in there where it's like, I think on PC and Switch, you can choose how, like, you can calibrate your high speed to where it's like high speed ×2, ×6, whatever.
Oh, right.
On the PlayStation version, you just have high speed. That's it. You can't change what that is. So there's some stuff here and there. It does look, when you do like side-by-side comparisons, you do see where like the pictures on the walls and stuff look blurrier than they do on the PC and the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
If that's going to bother you, play those versions.
Again, it's a PSP game, so like it might not matter that much at the end of the day.
And that's kind of my thing. For me, these games, the Legends games and East games, they will never be on the scale of like a Final Fantasy where you're looking at CG and you're trying to figure out, is that an actor or is that computer generated?
Right. This is the best looking game I have ever played. Like, that's not what they're shooting for.
They, even in Cold Steel 4, which came out last year before, the cars, when they drive and they go to make a turn, they still do the PlayStation 1 thing of, oh, it's just 90 degree now.
Yeah, just...
Yeah. So these will never win awards for graphics. I've said that before, and I actually kind of enjoy that. I like the fact that these are like reminiscent of like PlayStation 1, 2, 3 era games. So that works for me. Outside of that, like I said, timeline wise is in between Sky and Cold Steel. You are playing as Lloyd Baggins, Bannings, not Baggins. And I'm going to do that a lot because I keep reading his name as Baggins, and I don't know why. It's so stupid.
He's Bilbo's distant cousin.
Yeah. He is coming back to Crossbell to be a detective, and he gets put into the SSS division, which is, again, I'm always going to forget this. It's like the support specialist squad, or something like that. They are basically supposed to be like a substitute for the Bracers Guild, which, I'm getting way in the weeds on this, but they are supposed to help the public because the police in that town suck. Everybody knows it. They're corrupt and they don't do anything for the public. And this is supposed to help change the police image to the public.
Right.
And that's what you're playing as.
Okay.
You get all 4 of your characters up front, so you're not earning any addition. This isn't like the other games where all of a sudden you have a party of like 8 or 20, and or Cold Steel 4, all of a sudden there's 35 characters and you're kind of figuring it out from there.
Right.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying that they're all chibi and chubby as hell in this game because
very
they're
PSP.
It's PSP, so that's what they could do to get it to work.
Yep.
The court system is very archaic. They did not update anything system-wise in this game. It's still the original system that came out. So, like, if you've played Cold Steel and you're coming back to this, you're going to have to brush up and remember that this is set up so that you have to line up your court coloring a certain way to unlock certain attacks and abilities. And if you change your courts around, you're going to mess with what arts you have available in battle.
Oh, okay.
It's not like Cold Steel where it's like, hey, here's a quartz for tier, which is like the healing spell, and you equip this and you have access to, healing.
Yeah, you got to set up your stuff before you go in the dungeon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not very far. I just started chapter 1, getting through the prologue. I am loving it. I am loving walking around in Crossbell. They did change a couple things so that way it's more in line with events that happen later on in Cold Steel.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think there's like 2 or 3 characters that were not in the original release who are now in this game to just kind of help, mesh it together.
Yeah.
And it's not like big story, plot changing elements. It's literally just, hey, this character during this time frame should be here, and oh look, there they are. So,
right.
But I'll have more to talk about it next time. I've just been trying to remember how the court system works in this game and building up my CP and all this fun stuff so I can do ultimate attacks. And I've just been having a lot of fun with this game. Nice. So I am looking forward to playing tons more, and hopefully I will get it beat before the onslaught of other games that come out later on this month.
Yeah.
And next month.
He didn't.
Yeah.
No, I will. This is why I haven't been coming to the podcast with like 4 or 5 games, because I'm like really hunkering down with one game, and then I've got a different game that I'm playing that's different. That way I don't get burnt out on a genre.
Right.
So that's why I'm playing a very hard game, Sekiro, and then playing Heroes, which is just fun. And oh look, there's a mosquito. I'm gonna shoot it with my gun 6 times.
Right.
Right. That's all I've been playing this week.
I picked up Tunic, came out for PS4 and PS5 this past week, so I've been playing that. I will not spoil anything since there might be people that are playing this for the first time, but I immediately got lost because I know things, and I immediately sequence broke the entire game, which has been a lot of fun, but there was a point where I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm out of my depth here. Where am I actually supposed to go next? Because I at an end game area, and I should not have done that yet. One thing that I really actually like about this, and almost no games do this on the PS5, is there's a system in the PS5 called cards. It's essentially like objectives within the game. So for Tunic, it's largely like, go find the sword, go ring the first bell, go ring the second bell, go explore the ruined atoll, go do the next thing. But what it's really good about, and I wish more games supported this, is if you're looking for guidance in Tunic and you pick the very first card that shows up and essentially how you pull it up is when you're playing the game, you just hit the PlayStation button once and it shows a bunch of cards right there. If you pick the one up for like the pick up the sword, it will say, kind of give you like a gentle nudge about like, hey, maybe have you looked at this area? Mayhaps. If it's, and then you can expand that a little bit more to say, hey, go to this place, go all the way in the back, you can pick up the sword. If you can't get to the western bell, go here to here to here to here. Like, here's the general path you need to follow to get to this place to go do this thing. And I appreciate that, especially for a game like this, where sometimes you just kind of need a gentle nudge where it's like, hey man, you have the map. Have you checked out over here, maybe? Have you seen some of this stuff? Other than that, it's Tunic. I'm still really digging it. I'm kind of appreciating breaking this game nearly immediately in some pretty positive ways.
Did you get that sweet trophy for getting the gun at the beginning?
I didn't do that on this playthrough because I'll probably just do a dedicated run for that specific one. But I am in that area now. I'm up to the quarry for my playthrough at the moment.
That place sucked so hard. Only because I didn't have the item for that area. And
I just got the item, and I was like, okay, I got the item. I will equip the item, and then I will go pray at a shrine. I know it will bring all the enemies back, but that's fine. I will go do that, get all of my health back, because it had drained my health bar all the way down to the bottom, which was a bit of a bummer, but I kind of knew that was going to happen anyway. But I wasn't expecting, as much as I like Tunic, I was a little worried that I would pick it up and play it and be like, all right, yeah, like I had my fun with it the first time. I'm okay with it. Maybe I don't need to play this again. But I'm immediately into Tunic yet again and being like, yep, all right, sure, I'll do this. I'll try and find all the secrets. I'm sure there's a whole ton of stuff I didn't see the very first time. So I'm kind of excited to dig through that and just kind of try and get back to all the cool stuff that I did in Tunic and just enjoy it again. I feel like I don't think this was available when I first played it, because I played it on launch on Xbox. I think they put this and they patched this stuff in later, but it's here on launch on the PS5 and PS4 version. There's a ton of accessibility options now. Like there are options for being able to help you with audio puzzles. You can turn off screen shake and like flashing lights and stuff, but really importantly, you can change the difficulty of the battles. So you can, the options are either normal or reduced, and I actually have it on reduced to see what that does. Essentially, enemies deal half damage to you, and that has felt pretty good, because there's some of the stuff in that game that is really rough.
And so that's a nice in-between from, because they had the God mode in there from the start.
Yeah, so. I saw that I didn't remember it there from the beginning, but it might have been there, but they have a no-fail mode in there now, which is really nice, and I do like that you have like the kind of out-of-the-box difficulty, you have the reduced difficulty where you're still going to die, because the fighting in Tunic is pretty hard. And then you have the no-fail mode, as they call it, where it's just like, you're not you're not going to be able to die, which I think is really great, because I want more people to play Tunic. And I think the difficulty for Tunic that I appreciate is in the puzzles and not always in the fighting. Especially there are some areas where it's like, boy, I would just really like to get through this and not be dealing with some of this stuff. I'll fight the bosses, and I'm happy about those because those are really great. But there's some stuff in that game where I'm like, no, I don't want to keep fighting these 4 crocodiles in the same place and dying over and over again.
I was gonna say it's bad enough that I'm already trying to figure out this camera-oriented puzzle that you have placed before me, and I'm getting hit by like 6 different flying things.
Right. So I'm really happy that it runs great on PS5. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it to not, but I haven't heard anything bad about the Switch version either, which also just came out. So go play Tunic. It's really great. I'd love to talk way more about it, but everything would be a spoiler at that point. And Tunic is definitely one of those games that you absolutely do not want to spoil. So 2 thumbs up for Tunic.
Game Club on it as well, if you've already beaten the game.
That's true. Yeah, we do talk about all of it, including all of the instruction manual pages. So don't. So
once you're done, give that a listen.
Yeah, that's a really good episode. I'd highly recommend that. And my last game here is I played a ton of Cult of the Lamb this week. We recently finished our coverage of that over on We Rogue Like It, and I hadn't finished the game at that point, so I thought, well, I'm really enjoying the heck out of this. Let's just keep going. So I played a bunch this week, and I got through the 3rd dungeon, and I did enough runs in the 4th dungeon to be able to go fight the boss, which I did, and I was in really bad shape, so I definitely did not beat the 4th boss at all. And I really, really like Cult of the Lamb a whole lot. But man, was I running into one bug after another this week. The majority of what I was running into were freezing bugs, where it's just like I'm tooling around my my encampment, my little HQ, the cult HQ there, and the game froze. Cool. The one that I seemingly am able to reproduce 100% of the time is when you're going through the dungeon. And so if anyone hasn't played Cult of the Lamb, in between areas of the dungeon, they kind of give you the now standard like FTL branching paths thing, where you can pick one of 3 paths, and maybe one of them will have a shop, and one will have a battle, and one will have a follower that you can bring into your flock. Every single time I go do that fight for a follower, I get halfway through it. It'll have like 3 or 4 waves. Get halfway through it, and then all of the enemies will stop spawning. So I can't...
Interesting.
I can't recruit the follower, and I can't leave the room because I haven't recruited the follower yet. So I have to escape from the dungeon, which thankfully I have that skill, to try and kind of... But I can't finish my run, which is really frustrating.
Yeah. What version were you playing?
I'm playing the PS5 version. And all of them...
I assume you weren't playing that version? You playing Xbox version, Moon?
Yeah, Moon was playing on Xbox, okay. Yeah. But we just got a big patch on consoles last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. And it should have fixed the majority of these issues, so I'm not sure. It's really not the biggest thing at the end of the... Because if you go through a run and you don't finish it and you die, you keep all but 25% of the things you've picked up, like stone and grass and bones and stuff like that. It just takes away 25%. You go back to your camp and everything's fine. Okay. If you escape from the dungeon early, it takes away 15%. So you still get out of there with a whole bunch of stuff. You can't finish your run for whatever reason, which is like not the biggest thing in the world. But otherwise, the game has still continued to be great. My camp is a well-oiled machine at this point. I have gotten all of the when you go do a sermon and they give you experience, I've gotten all of those upgrades, like the upgrades for weapons and curses and stuff that you take advantage of inside of a run. And I think I only have like 2 or 3 more upgrades for things that you can build or improve in your camp, like the Animal Crossing side of things. So I'm doing fairly well on all that stuff. I have finally unlocked the last point on the overworld map, which turns out to be like a gambling den, which is really interesting. There's a bunch where it's like, give me a bunch of gold bars or give me a bunch of coins and you can buy all this sort of stuff. And then there's an option all the way at the top of the screen that just says sacrifice follower. And it's like, I don't think I have anybody that I need to do for that for right now, but curious to see what that does.
Would you want that answered for you to save
Sure.
you the hassle of losing followers?
Yeah.
You need to do 4 times at that location to get 4 of the shards for the cloaks, for the shawls.
Oh, so they give you the pokey red shards. Okay. All right. Well, stick 4 of those people in the mill. Let's grind them up.
Have you guys messed with the streaming stuff at all?
Nope.
No. I have seen. I watch a streamer on YouTube that plays a lot of roguelikes, Northern Lion. He did pretty early on. It's a really cool system where you get to run a raffle for your streamers, where they get to pick how the follower looks, and then the follower in your camp gets their name, like their Twitch name. I think that's a really cool system. It looked like it worked really well. That's a cool idea.
There was there's other things that you can do with that system as well through Twitch. It's Twitch, whatever. It's its own issue. But you can at some point you can do voting, and I'm not sure exactly how that works out. But you can vote to help or hinder the player. And some of the help stuff is like, let them gain health or have them, increase the amount of, whatever they're gathering or whatever.
Sure.
And the hinder is like, put everyone to sleep, kill one of their followers, destroy something at their base, make, something harder. So it's constantly rotating through that. I was helping somebody set that up on their thing. And it was pretty easy to set up, and it was pretty interesting doing that.
Yeah. What were you saying, Moon?
I've seen during the dungeon runs as well. It's like drop a bunch of bombs in the room. Here's extra enemies. Like,
oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, you can revive like fallen followers, or you can just make everything hit harder on the next dungeon that you go into.
That's
so it's like
cool.
There's a bunch of stuff that you can do to help or hinder.
So. Yeah, and for anyone listening, those are optional things. So like you can. You don't have to turn that stuff on if you're streaming it. I really like Cult of the Lamb. I talked a lot about it this past month on We Roguelike It. I think it's a really great game. I really like the idea of having an Animal Crossing game with more mechanics put on top of that. The battle system and the dungeon stuff feels really good. It's not the most like, you're not going to be playing a From Software game. You're not like, parrying and dealing with kind of deeper mechanics, but it feels really good and it feels really rewarding to use that stuff. And the push and pull of going into the dungeon, doing that stuff, and then coming back and doing Animal Crossing and kind of flopping between the two of those feels really good. I likened it a lot to Moonlighter, where you're kind of like, all right, I'm sick of taking care of my base. Let's go do the dungeon. I finished a dungeon run. I'm ready to take care of the base for a little bit. Like that loop feels really good. And I think the thing that I'm kind of excited about, and the reason why I think I would recommend this for a lot of people is it's like a 20-hour game. Like you can finish the story, and by the time I'm going to be finished with the story, I will have all of the upgrades, I will have all the items, I will kind of be doing everything I needed to do. There'd probably be a handful of trophies I don't quite have yet, but like it's not a roguelike like Isaac. You're not going to play it for, you could play it for the next 100 hours if you really want, but it's not it's a game that is meant to have an ending, and I appreciate that, because we don't always get a lot of roguelikes like that, which is refreshing. and easy to kind of recommend it. But Cult of the Lamb, it's great. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing the ending, and then kind of seeing what I have left over, and then maybe trying to wrap all those trophies up. If I want to go do like the fight all of these bosses without getting damaged, because that seems to be the spiciest one.
It's honestly not as bad as you think it is. There's a couple of bosses that might give you some hassle just because their attack patterns are odd.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, fire hundreds of little flies at you.
So annoying. It's just the worst, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll be right back.
God damn it! Are we all about to go?
I can hold on for a minute.
Okay.
I'll sit here and talk to chat. Hi, chat. How's everyone going? Let's look at last minute news stories here. Boy, there's a lot of stuff right now. Roguelike called Rogue Genesia. Put this on the stream. Vampire Survivors-esque roguelike. I'm surprised people are already copying Vampire Survivors. That looks okay. Rogue Genesia. Vampire Survivors and Slay the Spires framework. Okay, sure. Let's do that. Monster Hunter Rise. Which one is Monster Hunter Rise? It's not the RPG, right? Because there's that turn-based RPG. No, that's not. I was going to say, they're all RPGs, Boston. Duh. New Pokemon Wiglet revealed. It's a white worm. I keep forgetting that there are new Pokemon games coming out soon. Which, as much as my kid loves Pikachu, I feel like
my son's talking a lot about that. He's super excited for it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like into the 3D Pokemon, like more open world stuff. I feel like that's not. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan to begin with, so I feel like if they're giving me like an open world thing, then I'm sort of like, yeah, all right, yeah, sure.
Did you play, what was it, Arceus?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. That one, watching my son play that, there was a couple systems in there that had me real interested in checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, I'm not the bit, like, mine was red and blue. And then I played X and Y with my son, and even then I didn't even beat X. So,
yeah, I kind of like the top-down one, like throwing Pokeballs in a 3D environment to catch Pokemon. I'm like, this feels a little weird to me. All right, I will be right
run
back.
Off real quick? Yeah, okay. But yeah, what do we have? What is your guilty pleasure game of all time? Oh, okay. I think I have one. Oh, man. What are you doing? White chocolate dip pretzels there?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Apple cinnamon.
Ooh. I've got pumpkin pie Oreos hidden away from the children.
I also have chocolate dip ones and mini Kinder Buenos in the fridge.
Ooh. I also have a whole pile of
Kinder Bueno is god tier candy.
Of ramen noodles here, and spicy ramen noodles from Aldi.
Okay. Random. How very college of you.
I mean, sometimes I just get the urge for wanting ramen. I don't know. I live in Michigan.
Do you have a kettle in there as well for the hot water?
No, that's in the kitchen. I have an electric kettle that I can set the temperature to. I do have... Actually, I should turn my room light on too because it's getting dark. I do have tea. I don't know if it'll... But yeah, there's tea. Whatever. So, let me turn my light on real quick. don't think I have anything else weird in my office. I mean, I do have my PlayStation teacup in here. And I only bought that so I could get free shipping on the teacup that I really wanted, which was last year's Game of the Year Ghost of Tsushima teacup. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
My favorite part of that?
Oh, and then I still have my portable wacky inflatable arm tube waving guy here as well. So, it comes with its own little stand. What's the weird thing you have on your desk, Boston?
A VCR. It works.
I have a VCR DVD combo out in the living room because I have the original 5 Star Trek VHS movies and the original Star Wars trilogy on VHS.
No, I have this VHS is hooked up to my capture card on my PC, my Elgato 4K capture card, because I have a box of VHS tapes back here that my wife inherited that I want to rip and turn into. I think I finally figured out my whole workflow for that. So now I just gotta and you can't rip VHS tapes at a faster speed, so you just gotta here's 2 hours. All right, here's another 2 hours. I gotta carve out the time to start ripping those.
Did you leave the tracking in there at the beginning?
I haven't decided about that yet, because it does the auto tracking stuff, and I sort of want to leave the experience in of oh, this looks like trash. Oh no, oh now it's good. Okay, so you gotta leave it in there for your kids, so that way in the future. When she goes
just so that when she goes to show her the movies to her kids, if she has any, it'll throw her off every time she goes to play it, and that auto tracking sequence isn't happening.
Yeah, it was scrubbing the ghosts out of the tape, and now it's clear because the ghosts you got rid of them. Yeah,
because it's the same thing with Radio Killed. What was it? TV Killed the Radio Star or whatever the hell it was.
Yep.
Yeah, I've told the story before, but my my father-in-law burnt a CD with a couple 80s songs on there for my son, and there's a skip in that song. And when I actually hear the song on the radio, it throws me off that skip is not in there.
Right. Oh, man. Favorite rants, do those go with the photos? Yep. It's all... I have people are making fun of me for it, but I have a very rigorous naming and indexing scheme because I found additional bins of hundreds more photos. So then my naming and indexing scheme is really coming in handy right now, which is really good. But the nice part is it'll be easy to put those VHS tapes, the rips of those, onto YouTube and say, if you're in these videos, you're part of this family, here's this YouTube channel for all this stuff. Go nuts.
Yep.
So, all right, you guys ready?
Yeah. I think if you wanted to, you can upload a lot of that stuff to Ancestry.com too. I don't know if you do any of that stuff, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Watching Moon enjoy a snack.
Apple cinnamon pretzels, bitch.
Ooh,
we saw those at Aldi too. Almost picked them up.
Dang, all right.
We did pick up a gallon of apple cider because, they just got them in stock.
Yeah. Can't pass that up, man.
Yeah, we went grocery shopping. It was probably a mistake because we're on vacation.
Yeah.
That means you have to eat it all soon.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Who wants to have a waffle burger today?
That's right.
Yeah. Waffle burger sounds fucking delicious right now.
Yes, I could go for that. Man. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Although I do have a question before we get started.
Sure.
Pharaoh wants me to answer the question from last week. You good with that?
I don't have any time for that this week. We'll do it next week because Moon won't be here next week, so we should have a little bit more extra time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of October 3rd, 2022. Overwatch 2 comes out. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. Boy, if you haven't been following the tale of Overwatch 2, what a mishandling of literally any goodwill that a studio had left for the one game that people still like. Boy, just the wrong decision at every turn. And on this release, if I'm understanding correctly, Overwatch 1 will no longer function. So that's even better. It's just real good. If you haven't been following it, the long and short of it is Overwatch 2 was supposed to run alongside Overwatch 1. That will no longer be the case. Overwatch 2 is free. You will not get all heroes at launch. You have to level up a significant amount in your battle pass to get the additional heroes. And it very much seems like one of those games where it's like, why are you doing this? No one.
They also dropped the team count from like 6 to 5 or something like that.
Or like 5 to 4 or something. Yeah, they decreased it by 1. It's so wild because like the people that were still all the way into Overwatch are just like, you didn't need to do this. You could just keep working on Overwatch and it would have been fine. Just really weird. So that's coming out. Goodness. Go ahead.
Don't forget, they're also working on the Call of Duty Battle Royale thing to have version 2 next time as well, and that's going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, get ready for that, man. Wait, what are we going to get? Destiny 2 one of these days? I don't know about that. Next game here is Nier Automata, The End of Yorha Edition, coming out on the Switch. Shockingly, this seems to be a really great Switch port. Everybody who's been previewing this has been saying like, yo, this runs really well. It seems to be an incredible version of this game. So
there's a lot of cool extra stuff in there.
There is, yeah. There's a bunch of extra like content and costumes and all sorts of stuff. So I wouldn't have never guessed that Square would be putting out a Switch port that 1 wasn't in the cloud and 2 was technically proficient, but I guess here we are. So if you're interested, seems like a pretty great version of it. Speaking of interesting versions of Switch games, No Man's Sky comes out on the Switch this week too. I'm gonna say you should.
Cloud-based?
No.
I have no clue. I literally have heard nothing about this game dropping.
I know it's not cloud-based, but boy, there has to be some sort of handoffs and trade-offs here for performance of that game. That game does not run well on anything.
They're just going to pull out the OG version that got released to reviewers.
That'd be great. I would be okay if you put like the OG version that runs at like 480p and it's like, here you go, No Man's Sky for PS2. This is what could have been. So I don't. This to me is like Astroneer, where it's like, I'm sure you could squish this version of this game on this console, but I don't know what the trade-off is going to be to get it to run. So
Hello Games has earned back a lot of good faith, but I would still probably check out a review video just to make sure it's something.
And I'm curious to see who is doing the port work on this, because I don't know if it's Hello Games or if it's like Code Mystics or a sort of a porting house. So we'll have to see. I don't know. I'm very curious, because if it runs well on Switch, pick this up on Switch. Your No Man's Sky is great. Last but certainly not least, our game with the most controversy this week. The double pack of Chaos Head Noah and Chaos Child comes out on the Switch. I think Best Buy has a steelbook if you're interested in this. If you know what either of these games are, you probably have it pre-ordered anyway. But this is the...
It sounds like JRPGs to me.
No, it's the visual novel series. It's related to the Steins Gate games. That same company makes a whole bunch of visual novels. They're very slowly bringing them out over here in the US, and unsurprisingly finding a lot of friction as they're trying to put this stuff out on storefronts, because there's no hyperbole here, but Valve has suddenly decided that they don't want visual novels on Steam, and if your game can be sold in Walmart, that's no guarantee that it will be sold on Steam. As we are seeing with this double pack, where Nintendo is putting it out on their platforms, and Valve is like, nah, we banned it. Good luck. It's permanent, and there's no appeals process.
Why?
They don't know.
Because, Valve is being weird about a lot of things right now.
Yeah, Valve is being weird about... you're right. Valve is being weird about a lot of things in general, but they're being especially weird about visual novels. I think they're being especially... As they've let more adult games onto Steam, I think they are really concerned about visual novels where the characters are in high school. And I think they really don't want the headlines of next game featuring minors, that sort of thing. So I think they are just saying, cool, if it's a Japanese game in high schools, get it out. Like, you're banned, you have no appeals process, we're not letting you know. Bye.
Which seems really weird, because it's kind of... Steam is kind of this thing where it's like no one really talks about Steam itself. It's just... You're playing the game, you're talking about the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. They're doing all kinds of weird, goofy crap right now that doesn't make sense to anybody but them, I guess.
If you if you want like
something.
But if you want like a porn match 3 game, Valve is like, yeah, man. Yeah, you got 15 of them, let's put them on the store.
Like all the junkware and stuff that they have on there, it's like if you want to see nudity and all this other weird stuff, you can find it no problem.
And I think the publishers and developers, that's the biggest frustration that they're having, is like there's no consistency there. Like I have no guidelines where I can potentially change the content of my game to maybe get it onto Steam. It's just like, no, thanks, bye, see you later. So I get from their standpoint that it's, especially when their game is coming out on the Switch, I feel like it's really frustrating. We're like, cool, I can sell this game in Target, but you're not interested in putting it on Steam. Okay.
Or they should have a simple rule. If it's on the Nintendo eShop, you should probably put it on Steam.
Yeah, like there's probably
Nintendo
not going to be...
do the work for you.
Yeah, like if Nintendo says it's okay, it's probably okay. So very, very weird. I have a copy of this coming, and I will check it out, but we'll see. Let's move to news stories. The least surprising news story of this year probably is that Stadia is shutting down. It's going to be shutting down January 18th, 2023. And after that point, nothing will be available. They will be doing a complete shutdown of the platform entirely. Surprisingly, Google is going to be giving refunds to anyone that purchased anything. You will get a full refund. That includes software, DLC, and hardware. So
you get those sweet Destiny books back, Boston.
That's right. I don't think I don't think I bought anything on Stadia. I bought a controller for like $15, so I'll probably be getting that back. But I wasn't really that into it.
It does not include a refund for the Pro subscription or whatever their subscription thing was. They're not refunding that.
Right. That's the only thing, is like if you had the subscription, then they weren't gonna.
And they shut down the store as soon as they made this announcement, so you can't, for some reason, I don't know why you would, you can't just rush in there and buy a bunch of crap.
Yeah, buy a bunch of stuff to get your own money back.
Money laundering is what that's called.
That's true.
I guess, but
this is, I think all of us would agree, this is not a surprise. I think the writing has been on the wall for a while. Google committed 2 or 3 months ago saying, like, we're not shutting this down. We're in it for the long haul. No big deal. Which, of course, is a not immediately wildly profitable Google product, so it was destined for the graveyard out back. There's a number of real bummers here, especially for the developers that were having games come out this month or next month that learned about they learned about the fate of Stadia from the blog announcement this week.
Yeah, because you could still pre-order games months out through Stadia until this announcement happened.
Yeah, and Brandon Sheffield, a developer on Twitter, said that it's a real bummer for his studio. They put a bunch of Stadia games on there, and they were planning on putting another one out there. Apparently how the Stadia Pro program worked for payout for developers and publishers was that Google paid out per minute played by Stadia Pro users, which apparently turned out to be a very lucrative deal that they said is not shared by any other platform. You can read between the lines there for Game Pass.
So, but at the same time, that's also a ridiculous deal.
Yeah, like for sure. Like
from a business standpoint, if I was alphabet.com and I made that deal, I would regret making that deal.
Yeah. And I think that the thing that, as I've been sitting here this week kind of thinking about Stadia, it seems like for the last 2 years, it seems like the industry's biggest missed opportunity. Because we have been in a situation with this pandemic where for the longest time, a lot of us have just been locked at home, trying to enjoy some level of entertainment, and faced with a console shortage of unforeseen circumstances.
They didn't come on, Boston. They didn't have the finances or the big, huge corporate name to get behind the package and promote it as it was needed.
Yeah, and I mean, this grassroots effort.
Yeah, and to me, that's like the biggest bummer of you had your platform's purpose delivered to you on a silver platter for years, and you did literally nothing with it. The rumor on the street is they paid tens of millions of dollars to get Red Dead Redemption 2 on the platform. You didn't need to do that. What you needed to do was market that Stadia is free, which is the thing no one knew about. Like, you didn't need a subscription to use Stadia. You got a bunch of benefits if you're a Stadia Pro member, but like, you could go there and you could spend the however many dollars to purchase a game for the platform to keep until now, and then go play that streaming. Like, the majority of people that are saying online this week of like, I didn't know Stadia was free. I thought you had to like subscribe and buy the games. It's like that. No, that's where Google has fallen on this thing, and it's such a surprise. I think if you had looked at this service and like PS Plus and Game Pass on paper, I think you just said like, yeah, Stadia probably seems like a better deal. Like, you don't need hardware, you don't need physical games, you don't need any of this stuff. And
I think if you start from nothing, Stadia was the better option.
Yeah. And I think it is still surprising to me that even through console shortages and everything, Google managed to drop the ball in a historically terrible way. That's almost impressive. And it's just a real bummer that this thing honestly fell down.
This reminds me of Microsoft holding a burial service for the iPhone.
That's right.
Well, and since Boston brought it up too, with PlayStation's poor management of, I don't know, telling people things, the PlayStation Star program starts October 5th for North America this week.
Oh, thank you.
It wasn't in the news, yes. Yeah, so.
Right. But also, I think
on this source, by the way, Boston.
What's that?
Did you see the deck on the source? Because when Boston does show notes, he gives a source for what he's getting the news from. And he frequently uses Vice and Waypoint because that's the place to go for news.
I like him.
The deck on this article is "We hardly knew ye because nobody used ye."
That's right. I think also of special note here is, please stop hiring Phil Harrison to run your stuff. Let's follow his last 3 failures. The PS3, which he was in charge of during the launch. The Xbox One, which he was in charge of for its launch, having a spectacularly terrible launch, which thankfully Spencer righted that ship eventually. And now Stadia.
Yeah, which version of One?
The original. He was there for the Xbox One launch, which is failed for a ton of pretty major reasons. So, like, please.
Got a 500 gig hard drive for like dirt cheap out of that thing.
Oh, it's true.
It's this geezer. I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, screw that guy.
Yeah, so please stop putting him in charge of things.
He's Peter Molyneux 2.0.
Yeah. Or die.
He might actually be 1.0, and Peter Molyneux might be.
I don't know if I would want to be compared to Peter Molyneux either way. So I don't know who wins in that one. But
tap the cube to get the NFT. That's the new rules.
That's God. He has to be into NFTs, right? I'm gonna Google this. Peter Molyneux
Tencent,
NFTs. Peter Molyneux's next game is a blockchain business sim featuring NFTs because the future sucks. That is on December 12th, 2021. Cool.
Oh, right. Okay. I apologize in advance for the hard left turn I'm about to take here.
No, please. Nothing
has brought me more joy this week than finding out that Ben McKenzie, who played Ryan Atwood on the OC, who is an actor I have adored since seeing him in the OC. Yes, I like the OC. Go away. I've adored everything he's done that I've seen. He's been fantastic in. Nothing has brought me more joy to find out that he is an anti-crypto, anti-NFT bro now,
yes,
and just published a book about it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Join the anti-NFT squad as the market falls out from under it, which I appreciate. Love it. Yep. Thank you. Next news story here. E3 2023 potentially getting closer to being a real reality. This would be running June 13th through 16th next year at the Los Angeles Convention Center, as usual. There's going to be a suite of digital events and showcases starting on June 11th, which seems like they're kind of trying to have their cake and eat it too, with kind of pairing not E3 with E3. The E3 business days, the first letters of those are capitalized, take place June 13th through 15th, which is kind of their traditional registered industry people kind of event, where it's just the industry folks and the developers on the floor. June 15th and 16th will be E3 Gamer Days.
Call it public days. Just call it public days. Get your marketing team on the phone and just call them public days.
Yeah, open to the public E3 or whatever. Like, just put a big old sign on it that says now open, under new management, hopefully. I don't know how they're going to do this, but the open public event thing is going to be in a different hall, and it's focused on hands-on for attendees. They also say, quote, as well as ways to connect with developers, content creators, and personalities, end quote. That sucks. And a dedicated theater for content offering deep dives on upcoming games, which also sort of sounds like it sucks.
So they'll just fill one of the wings they're not using. Oh yeah, to send us.
Yeah.
Get those up there so Boston can pay us all to go to E3 for
a
personality-driven
that's right. Day. You can meet us at E3.
Oh God.
It's interesting because it really sounds like they're trying to take all three parts of what the convention circuit looks like now. They look like they're trying to open with not E3, and Keighley is probably going to do it better like the next 2 months after that or whatever, which is wild to think. They still want to do like the industry only thing, like the old school, and then they want to do PAX. But all three of these things are happening in different places at different times. So like if you're I generally don't understand what they're doing, which I guess is just E3 in the modern day of just, girl, what is you doing? I don't understand. So tune in like 8 months for our not E3 2023 episode of some variety, I guess? Question mark?
The name is quite literal this time, apparently.
Yeah. All E3 all the time. Oops, all E3.
E3, but not as you know it, 2022.
That's right. It's very snappy. I like it. Write it down. Next news story. You're going to be shocked. Skull and Bones was delayed again. Now for the 5th time. It was delayed from next month, November 2022, to March 2023. Really getting in like right before the fiscal year ends. And just trying to sneak that bad boy in there. They said the delay is to give the players, quote, the best possible experience. They need the extra 4 months to give devs a chance to polish and balance the game using feedback from recent playtests, which doing that at this point is worrying.
I was gonna say, what the hell have you been doing this entire time?
I'm rebooting the game over and over again, I guess. As a potential salve to this issue, an open beta will take place in, quote, the near future, end quote, which doesn't even have a date on it, which is really the legacy of this game, I guess.
Look for the beta, February.
Yeah, like, and every time this game gets delayed, I feel like I have to buy it even more, because it's just, as part of the game's coverage for, like, the last 7 years.
Like, you do. There is no discussion about this. You 100% do, because number one, you were so pumped when it got announced.
I really was.
Yeah.
I loved Black Flag. Let's do another one of those. Great. Let's hit Strike While the Iron's Hot 7 years ago.
And you have to put on your predictions again that it will come out.
For once, I have a 50-50 chance that it's true this year. And, Moon, to be fair, you fell on the Saints Row sword, so I feel like I have to fall on the Skull and Bones sword.
True.
And maybe both of them will be just okay.
Yeah, but yours is PvP, so I'm more than happy to not fall on that sword.
Yeah, I keep forgetting it has that. Yeah.
Wait, what? Is this supposed to come out on PC too?
I believe so.
Oh, just wait for all the hackers to come in day one.
Oh, yeah.
You know Ubisoft is not going to fix any of that crap.
No, they're not. They already don't care, and it's not out yet, so, like, man. Last news story here. Intel unveils their brand new Arc GPUs. They have unveiled the Intel Arc A770. It's coming out October 12th for $329. Intel is super quick to mention that is the MSRP for the NVIDIA 3060, and then gives you like a wink and nudge and be like, yeah, but good luck finding any of those for that price, am I right? Which isn't unfair, but they're weirdly addicted to pointing that out. Intel...
Yeah, because NVIDIA just dropped a bomb on themselves, dude. That's why they're pointing it out. This is the here's how you share games.
Yeah, exactly. You're talking about the Xbox One's launch, like, man. So, you bring up a good point, because NVIDIA was just like, hey man, you want a new card? It's $1,500. And Intel's like, we have a pretty okay card, and it's like $330. It's like, yeah. All right, those are the prices I can get behind. They also announced the Intel Arc A750. It's coming on the same day for $289, so $40 less. Seems like the chipset speed and the amount of RAM on the A750 doesn't make it a great deal for just $40 less. So it seems like the 770 is probably the one you want to go to anyway. Intel has released some early benchmarks, which, take this with a truckload of salt. They're saying that the performance of the 770 is comparable to an NVIDIA 3060 under DirectX 12 and Vulkan, but the performance isn't as favorable for DirectX 11 and older, which might not be the biggest deal if you can get the card and it's not $1,500 American dollars. Maybe that's okay. Nobody has hands-on with the card yet, but it seems like Intel has shipped them to, like, PC Gamer and places like that. Was it Digital Foundry, the guys that are always doing the benchmarks and stuff? They'll probably be getting one too. Intel has not announced any third-party groups making these cards, but they have announced they're making their own first-party cards out of the gate. So maybe EVGA will slot right in there for a couple hot cards.
I don't know. They made it pretty.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah, don't talk to me about GPUs.
The owner walked into that factory and lit it on fire and walked out.
I don't even want the insurance. Get out of here. But I bring this up because I think this is really interesting. I think NVIDIA did not have a great announcement for the 4000 series cards like we recently talked about. AMD seems like they're ramping up to announce their brand new series of cards, which I'm curious to see. But I think Intel is kind of poised at a really great spot to potentially take a pretty big chunk out of the GPU market, where if you can get these cards and they're performant and they're $1,200 less than like a new NVIDIA card, that seems like a no-brainer of just like, look, I need a video card. I'm not running anything super crazy. I'm not like working for Pixar or anything. $330 seems like a pretty good deal for like a video card that seems good.
There's a huge mid-tier market that they can just slot themselves into, where it's like, you don't need a card that runs 8K at whatever. Right. You just need it to run at 4K, kind of pushing it.
Or even like my monitors here are 60 hertz 1440 monitors. That's probably a perfect video card for these. That will probably run a bunch of... I'm not even running like 120 frames, 144 frames. I'm not running 4K. Like, that seems like a perfect market for these cards to say, look, you can get them and they run really well. Yeah. Like, that's all you need. And they don't... they're not like a down payment on a car or anything, which is great.
You don't need 6 power supplies for it.
Yeah, it's a used car. Like, you buy a video car.
Well, not in this day and age.
That's true.
My God, have you looked at the car market?
No, I'm trying not to, as someone who needs to buy a car soon.
I think my car is actually worth more now than it was when I bought it.
Mine too, probably.
Is. Yeah,
and I think the interesting thing is, it will be interesting to see if any PC builders take advantage of this, because they can say, here is a computer for $1,500 that comes with a video card from Intel, and it's good. Here's a computer for $3,500 that's just that computer with an NVIDIA card in it. Like, you could make a really good case for, it's like, here's a computer that costs as much as this video card, and that is bad math. Unless, again, you're working at Pixar, but maybe you're running something else at that point. So, who knows?
At that point, you're using the cloud. Come on.
Yeah, that's probably true. All right, that's all of our news stories, which means we are out of time for this episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. You visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to our Patreon page, patreon.com/E1M1.
1 equals numbers.
You can support us financially over there. If you can't support us financially, we totally understand. You can share us online and support us everywhere. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is huge. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 I had to sneeze through that entire thing. Also, it is getting pretty late. Nimp, what are your titles?
I have TVGP Gaiden.
Okay.
Hot and cold hardware storage.
Mm-hmm.
Pokatron. I fight for the Pikachu. One bean away. Live, laugh, scrap. Cult HQ. And yes, I like the OC. Go away.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Squall is called Leon. Double the hours. Excitedly sad. Internal hot and cold. Thanks, I hate it. Pokatron, I fight for the Pikachu. Live, laugh, scrap. Space country, as in space country. Ding, ding, ding. Life finds a way. We don't know and we don't care. Let Nintendo do the work. And Peter Molyneux 2.0.
What are you guys leaning towards here? I have hot and cold storage, TVGP Gaiden, and One Bean Away as the ones I kind of wrote down here.
No, dude, it's I fight for the Pikachu.
That one is really good.
I mean, I'm fine with that one.
I'd be okay with that. I fight for the Pikachu. All right.
I'm ready.
I like it.
Of course you're ready.
It's 2 things I know a lot about.
That's true.
Pokemon and Tron.
Yep.
I don't know how well it's going to go with the music under the as the bed, but we'll see.
Yeah, I can always pull that music back a little.
Go ahead. We'll see what I come up with on the fly.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 780 for October 3rd, 2022. I fight for the Pikachu.
Dum 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 dum.
I'm doing my part.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us, listening and watching. We appreciate it. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.